Okay, we're going to get started here. Welcome, one and all. So glad you're with us on this occasion, this wonderful occasion of Hanukkah and the end of Shabbat, so that we can celebrate together. This is really exciting. This is our first virtual Hanukkah celebration, and we're really glad that you're with us. Andy will now sing Hine Ma Tov, how wonderful it is for all to dwell together in unity.
Hine ma tovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tovu manai, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine ma tov, shevet achim gam yachad. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for all to dwell together. Behold how good and how pleasant it is for all to dwell together in unity. Hine ma tov, ya la 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 la. In unity, hine ma tov, la 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 la.
Thank you, Andy. There's a lovely nigum that goes along with Havdalah. Andy, can you take it away?
La 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 la. La 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 la.
We have everybody muted, but feel free to sing along, read along with the blessings and the songs. We will unmute you later so that you can all share. But for right now, we have everybody muted so that we can hear Andy's singing and my reading for right now. Havdalah means distinction or separation. The ceremony consciously separates the sacred time of Shabbat from the secular time of the approaching week. It marks the close of a 25-hour day, sending us into the coming week with the fragrant spices of Shabbat. This stretching of time reflects how special is this day of rest in the life of many Jews. We cannot wait until she arrives and seek to delay the departure of Shabbat. We welcome her like a bride, giving her a warm and sweet reception and an equally warm and spiritual send-off. The ceremony of Havdalah engages all of our five senses. We now light the Havdalah candle.
We give thanks for the Sabbath day that is now ending and grateful for its many blessings, for peace, joy, rest of the body, and refreshment of the soul. May something of its meaning and message remain with us as we enter the new week, lifting all that we do to a higher plane of holiness and inspiring us to work with a new heart. We light the Havdalah candle to kindle the light of discernment, allowing us to choose wisely between actions that heal and actions that harm. La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei peri hagafe borei peri hagafe.
We raise the cup of wine, but do not yet drink. Wine gladdens the heart, our eyes open to unnoticed grace. Blessings till now unseen, and the promise of goodness we can bring to flower. We hold up the spice box and inhale of its spices. May the coming week bring gladness and peace, health and achievement, as we inhale the fragrance of the spices. We pray that the days ahead may bring sweetness to our lives and to the lives of our dear ones. May the blessed influence of this Shabbat linger with us until next Shabbat. We engage our sense of smell with the spice box.
La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei minei v'samim.
We hold up the Havdalah candle. The candle's double wick reminds us that all qualities are paired. We have the power to create many different fires, some useful, others baneful. Let us be on guard, never to let this gift devour human life, sear cities and scorch fields, or foul the pure air of heaven, obscuring the very skies. Let the fire we kindle be holy. Let it bring light and warmth to all humanity. We engage our sense of sight and touch. We curl our fingers towards our palm and hold them towards the flame so that we can feel the heat and see the flame reflected in our fingers and our fingernails.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei meorei ha'ei borei meorei ha'eish yai.
We raise the cup of wine once again as we recite the blessing, separating the holy from the profane. Blessed is Adonai, our God, ruler of the universe, who separates sacred from profane, light from darkness, the seventh day of rest from the 6 days of labor. Blessed is Adonai, our God, who separates the sacred from the profane.
La 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 la. La 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 la. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamavdil ben kodesh lechol בין אור לחושך בין ישראל לעמים בין יום השביעי לששת ימי המעשה ברוך אתה אדוני המבדיל בין קודש לחול.
We now drink from the cup of wine as we engage our sense of taste. L'chaim. We engage our
L'chaim.
sense of hearing with these prayers and song. And again, as we extinguish the Havdalah candle in the remaining wine and hear it sizzle out. We see the symbols before us. We taste the wine. We smell the fragrance of the spices. We feel the heat of the flame. We hear the solemn words of prayer. We thus consecrate our five senses to work during the coming week for the fulfillment of our highest potentials. As we wish for one another a good week, Shavua Tov.
Shavua Tov, 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 Shavua Tov. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and light increase. A good week, a week of peace. May gladness reign and light increase. Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi, Bimhera ve'yamenu, Yahavo Eleinu, Im Mashiach ben David, Im Mashiach bat Sarah, Eliyahu Hanavi, Eliyahu Hatishbi, Eliyahu, Eliyahu, Eliyahu Hagiladi.
Andy will end our Havdalah service with the singing of a new song called The Twisted Candle in honor of Havdalah and tonight.
The twisted candle brightens our hearts as together we watch Shabbat depart. We smell the spices, taste the wine as stars in the sky begin to shine. Shavua Tov, may you have a good week. May you find the happiness you seek. Shavua Tov, may your week be fine. May it be as sweet as a Sabbath wine. We say goodbye to a special friend. Another Shabbat has come to an end. Shavua Tov are the words we speak to say may you have a happy week. Shavua Tov, may you have a good week. May you find the happiness you seek. Shavua Tov, may your week be fine. May it be as sweet as a Sabbath wine. May it be as sweet as a Sabbath wine.
Please gather your Hanukkah candles as we begin to light them for this beautiful third evening of Hanukkah. Chag Sameach to one and all. Happy Hanukkah. You should have 3 candles on the right side in your shamas. And we'll light the shamas together. Okay. Uh-oh. My shamas is not lighting. Give me a second. Okay, Andy, you want to start the blessings?
Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kiddushanu b'mitzvotav, v'tzivanu lehadlik ner shel Chanukah. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu melech haolam, she'asa nisim la'avoteinu ve'imotenu בימים ההם בזמן הזה.
Now we're going to sing a bunch of songs, starting with Ma'oz Tzor.
מעוז צור ישועתי, לך נאה לשבח, תיכון בית תפילתי, ושם תודה נזבח, לעת תכין מטבח, מצר הנבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח, אז אגמור בשיר מזמור, חנוכת המזבח. Rock of ages, let our song praise your saving power. You amid the raging foes were our sheltering tower. Furious they assailed us, but your arm availed us. And your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. And your word broke their sword when our own strength failed us. Who can retell the things that befell us? Who can count them? In every age a hero or sage came to our aid. Who can retell the things that befell us? Who can count them? In every age a hero or sage came to our aid. On in days of yore in Israel's ancient land, brave Maccabeus led his faithful hand, and now all Israel must as one arise, redeem itself through deed and sacrifice. Who can retell the things that befell us? Who can count them?
Sivivon, Sov.
Sevivon, Sov, Chanukah hu Chag Tov, Chanukah hu Chag Tov, Sevivon, Sov, Chag Simcha hu La'am, Nes Gadol haya sham, Nes Gadol haya sham, Chag Simcha hu La'am. Sevivon, Sov, Chanukah hu Chag Tov, Chanukah hu Chag Tov. Sevivon, Sov. Hanukkah, come light the menorah. Let's have a party, we'll all dance the hora. Gather round the table, we'll give you a treat. Svivonim to play with, latkes to eat. And while we are playing, the candles are burning low. One burning bright, one for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. One for each night they shed a sweet light to remind us of days long ago. Now this one we're going to have some fun with. I'd like to encourage you to come up with your own verses, but we'll sing it straight for a minute. Here we go. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of clay. When it's dry and ready, dreidel I shall play. Oh, dreidel, I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, then dreidel I shall play. It has a lovely body, with legs so short and thin. And when it is all tired, it drops and then I win. Dreidel, I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, dreidel I shall play. My dreidel's always playful. It loves to dance and spin. A happy game of dreidel. Come play now, let's begin. So here's what I have some proposed verses to share with you. So here we go. And then maybe we'll come up with some other ones. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of gum. And when I tried to spin it, Sharon, what's the next line?
I can't remember.
It stuck right to my thumb.
Thumb.
Or I have a little dreidel, I made it out of bread. And when I tried to spin it, I ate it up instead. There we go. How about I have a little dreidel, I made it out of ice. And when I tried to spin it, it melted, which wasn't very nice.
Nice.
And I'll give you one more, and then if Sharon wants to open it up or we move on to the next activity, here we go. This one about 15, 20 years ago in the JCC, and it was a Shabbat, so we did Shabbat, and now we're going to do some Hanukkah during Shabbat. And maybe 5 or 6 kids contributed ideas, and I want to wrap it up. But there's one kid in the back waving. He's got to get his idea in. So he goes like this. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of chocolate. And when he said that, I wasn't quite sure where it was going. So one more time. I have a little dreidel, I made it out of chocolate. And when I tried to spin it, it took off like a rocket. Oh, dreidel, I made it out of chocolate. And when I tried to spin it, it took off like a rocket.
Rabbi, you have one to throw at Andy?
Oh, I think Andy's pretty much covered it all. He's doing a great job. I have nothing to add to his expertise.
Okay, Andy, you have any more for us? You have one candle. You were going to do one candle.
I got one more song. I got one more song that I'll share with you. It's not on the screen, and I want to add it. Maybe next year we'll expand on it. But actually, you heard this on the Shabbat. It's called Banu Choshech. Now, I'm going to do the traditional English. The Hebrew we'll leave alone when you have words in front of you. But you can actually echo these words. So I'm going to sing it, and you echo on your side of the silenced mic. It goes like this. Though the night is dark and cold, there is light within our soul. In our hearts there burns a flame. Unity in freedom's name. Unity in freedom's name. Go away, darkness, blackest night. Go away, darkness, blackest night. Go away, make way for light. Go away, make way for light. Go away, darkness, blackest night. Go away, darkness, blackest night. Go away, make way for light. And I got one more for you. You know me, it wouldn't be Andy if I wasn't doing some hand motions. Now, actually, we got 2 more for you. Debbie Friedman. We all love Debbie Friedman. So first we'll do the hand motion one. I want you to take your right hand, wag your finger, not by might, and switch hands, and not by power. Once again, right hand, not by might, and not by power. And then you're going to hug yourself, but you're going to look heavenward and then hug yourself. And you're going to say, but by spirit. So you're kind of bringing spirit toward you, embracing it. And then you're going to go alone, clap twice. So, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. So hold on to that for a minute. I'll give you the melody, and then we'll do the motions again. So here we go. Not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. So here we go. Right hand, not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Right hand, not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. Not by might, not by power. Shalom. And I'll sing it one more time, and whatever you remember, pop in the motions. Not by might and not by power, but by spirit alone shall we all live in peace. That's great, Sharon. I love it. Okay. Not by might and not by power, but by Spirit alone. Shall we all live in peace? Wrap it up. Not by might, not by power. Shalom. Now, there's actually a few more words, but we'll build on that for next year. So, one more song, and we're all going to like this last song is in very good taste. Last one. This last song is called the Latkes Song, otherwise known as I'm a Latke. Now, it starts off, I am a Latke, followed by I'm a Latke. Now, these last two songs I've shared with you are by Debbie Friedman of blessed memory. Many of you are familiar with who she was. She's the kind of person that gets into the prayer book, like Abraham and Sarah and somebody and Debbie, you know, that kind of thing. She is a matriarch of our people. Here we go. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. So once again, it's I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and then I'll continue for the first section. You'll enjoy it, and we'll come back to the chorus. Here we go. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am so mixed up that I cannot tell you. I'm sitting in the splendor turning brown. I've made friends with the onions and the flour, and the cook is scouting oil in town. I sit here wondering what will come of me. I can't be eaten looking as I do. I need someone to take me out and cook me, or I'll really end up in a royal stew. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to come. I am a Latke, I'm a Latke, and I am waiting for Hanukkah to hit it. Come. Whoopah.
Woohoo! One candle. You promised us one candle.
Oh, my goodness, of course. Absolutely. You got it.
Absolutely.
Now, the last song, and you'll all appreciate this. So when I was coming up as a little tyke and not so little tyke in middle school and high school, one of my favorite things to do in services was sing Adon Olam. I was kind of like a one-trick pony, but that was it. That was the start of my journey. So then when I began learning guitar back in the 80s, my song du jour or whatever on Hanukkah was always Light One Candle. So it's an amazing song by Peter Yarrow, and it really captures the essence of the history and the ruach of folk music and all that. So here we go. Light one candle for the Maccabee children, with thanks that their light didn't die. Light one candle for the pain they endured when their right to exist was denied. Light one candle for the terrible sacrifice justice and freedom demand. And light one candle for the wisdom to know when the peacemaker's time is at hand. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Light one candle for the strength that we need to never become our own foe. Light one candle for those who are suffering the pain we learned so long ago. Light one candle for all we believe in, that anger won't tear us apart. And light one candle to bind us together with pieces of song in our heart. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. What is the memory that's valued so high that we keep alive in that flame? What's the commitment to those who have died when we cry out they've not died in vain? Have we come this far, always believing that justice will somehow prevail? And this is the burden, and this is the promise, and this is why we will not fail. Don't let the light go out. It's lasted for so many years. Don't let the light go out. Let it shine through our love and our tears. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out. Don't let the light go out.
It's lasted for many years. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next up is Rabbi Barry. So Rabbi Barry, I
Yes.
will add you. Hold on.
I'm here.
Okay. Unpin me. Okay. All right, Rabbi.
All right. Well, I really want to thank Andy and Sharon for doing an amazing job. This was a great Hanukkah celebration. And I love listening to Andy's music. And I like listening to Sharon's narration. I think you guys worked great together. Just want to say a few words about Havdalah and about Hanukkah. So Havdalah is a Hebrew word that means a distinction. There's a verb in Hebrew, lahavdil, to separate. And what Havdalah reminds us is, in some religions, there's no separation between good and bad. Everything is okay as long as you just accept it. You accept your fate, you don't try to change it, and they don't make judgments. And Judaism's kind of unique. We have separation between good and bad, night and day, which is celebrated with Havdalah, between the Shabbat and the rest of the week. As we said in the music, the sacred and the profane. And in Judaism, we not only separate right from wrong, we believe that we are basically good. We believe that we've been born good. Some religions say we're born evil. Some religions say we're neutral. We believe we're born good and we should seek the goodness. Now, in some religions, they train people to obey the government and to obey the authorities and not to make waves. But we have here our producer, the producer of our Shabbat, Arny Pickholtz is here. I see him watching this show. So in his community, the government, the ruling powers, were going to wipe out every single mahogany tree in the entire complex. And everybody was just willing to say, okay, whatever, I don't really agree with it, it's not a good thing, but hey, what can I do? Well, the Maccabees tell us what we can do. And Shabbat tells us what we can do. We can draw a distinction and say, no, that's not right. And he's fighting back. It's a year later, and the trees are still standing up. And we hope they're going to stay that way. We have somebody here, Gloria, who I've seen Gloria fight back many, many times. When the government or society is going to go in one way, she said, no, I'm going to fight back. That's what the Maccabees are all about. They're about fighting back. The leader of the Maccabees was Mattathias. Mattathias was a priest. In those days, they didn't have rabbis, they had priests. Mattathias said, we have to fight back against the Assyrian Greeks. They're trying to destroy our religion. Many, many people said, Mattathias, stay out of politics. Don't cause waves. We just want to hear some very nice prayers and some nice things from you. And he said, well, all the prayers that we say don't mean anything if the powers of evil are ruling. And so he decided that saying prayers was nice, but sometimes it's not enough. So we celebrate on Hanukkah the ability to fight back. Now the Maccabees form an acronym. I've mentioned this before. It stands for Mi Kamocha Bo'elim Adonai. Who is like you, O God? What the Maccabees showed is that we can be godlike. The Maccabees, in the book of Maccabees, it says God intervened. God destroyed the Assyrian Greeks. They didn't really know how to explain what happened, but I think there's a more rational explanation. That there was something within every person. They said, who can be like God? The Maccabees found out we can. Within us, we don't have to wait for a divine power. Within us, we have the power to fight for what's right. And that's what Hanukkah is all about. It's not waiting for the government to do the right thing or a supernatural power. It's realizing that we can do the right thing. And that's why I mentioned on the dreidel, Nes Gadol Haya Sham. And in Hebrew and Israel, they say Nes Gadol Haya Po. They put a pei, but pei means panima, which means a great miracle can happen within us. So we have the power to change the world and to defeat evil when we all work together. So I'm hoping that all the Jewish people will join together. We have some dark days ahead. We have some difficulties in our country, some real problems. But we have seen recently, and we've seen throughout history, that we can fight back. One last thing I want to share with you. Hanukkah celebrates the love of freedom, first fight for religious freedom. And so in our country, we celebrate the fact that the people, through their votes, decided who would rule. And the Supreme Court and state legislatures and others decided, you know what, we like democracy. We like freedom. We're going to respect freedom and the vote of the people. Final thing I'm going to share with you is this. Have you ever wondered if the Christians set up Christmas as the birthday of Jesus, and then they decided that the calendar should start from the birth of Jesus, the year that we're in, 2010. They believe that's when Jesus was born. If so, why isn't New Year's on Christmas Day? If Jesus was born on Christmas Day, why wouldn't New Year's Day be the day that he was born? Why wouldn't New Year's be December 25th? The answer is very simple. Jesus was Jewish. And so what we celebrate on New Year's Day is his bris. That's when he was officially welcomed into the community. And so Christmas is one thing, but the real celebration comes on his bris on New Year's Day, on the 8th day. Thank you very much, everybody. Thank you, Sharon and Andy. I think you did an awesome job, and I really enjoy listening. I enjoy listening to Andy's music, not just because of his talent and not just because of his familiarity with Hebrew, but he's got ruach. He's got the real ruach of Hanukkah, and Sharon has it too. And we're very lucky to have them leading the service. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Rabbi. Give me 1 second here. So thank you very much, Andy, for your beautiful music. Thank you, Rabbi, for your wonderful words. And now we have a few little videos we'd like to share with you. The first is of our own Hannah Klingsberg. She's doing a beautiful song for you, and I'm going to share that right now.
I was dreaming of Hanukkah candles, and they seemed to be burning and bright. They each had a story to tell me as I watched their glowing light. 'Twas a story of hope and of yearning, and a prayer told in days long gone by, that we'd keep the spark of life burning and not let its embers die. I was never thrilled so sincerely. The candles held me in their spell. And then I heard a voice clearly, the voice of Israel. And it called on us all to endeavor to make life for our loved ones supreme, that we keep the spark of life burning. That's my Hanukkah candles dream.
Thank you, Hannah, for that lovely song, and Arny for producing it. I'd now like to share with you a great group that we had in our Shabbat service last night, 613, which is a group of 6 very talented acapello gentlemen, and I think you'll really enjoy it. It's Hanukkah and it's Star Wars.
ישועתי לך נאה לשבח, תיכון בי תפילתי, ושם תודה נזבח. מעוז ישועתי לך נאה לשבח, Rock of Ages, praise your saving power. Furious, they assailed, but your armor veiled us, and your word broke the sword when our own strength failed us. Yes, your word broke the sword when our own strength failed us. Rock of Ages, let our song praise your saving power. Lord God. Happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Latkes Song, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah, happy Hanukkah. Al hanisim ve'al hapurkan ve'al hagivurah.
Hope you enjoyed that as much as I did. Now I have the special L'Dor Va-Dor Players who are made up of Gloria Stein, Hannah Klingsberg, Suzanne Burstein, and myself. And we're doing a little Twas the Night Before Hanukkah. Twas the night before Hanukkah. Oi, what a shock. Somebody outside was picking the lock. And there at the door stood a Zeta in blue. And he wore on his cuff a blue yarmulke too.
His punim was Shane. Everybody would love it. Round his neck hung a chain with a gold Magen David. He wore silken tzitzis beneath his wool vest, and a small flag of Israel was draped on his chest.
He said, I'm no burglar, so please don't be nervous. I'm the spirit of Hanukkah, here at your service. Mention I'll call me Reb Shalom Shapiro. Without me, his Yom Tov might need a new hero.
I visit all Yidlach and bring Kanahara. Good fortune is bright as a glowing menorah. Ich schlepp lots of blessings, und Hanukkah Geld, and joys that are Chaka and best in der Welt.
If you know nice mention, I'll visit them quick and I'll bring them gesund and a house full of glick. So we sent him to your house and shook hands and parted. He shouted shalom out the doorway and darted.
He ran to a wagon with some horses ahead. He fed them some bagels, and here's what he said. Let's go, Moish and Mendel. Make quick, Mo and Yossi. Please give a rush, Malka. Hey, Jaime, please hustle.
And they raced like the wind, and they galloped so schnell. All his clothing blew off, and his gatkes as well. He became so cult that his tushy turned bluish. He moaned and he hollered in English and Jewish.
So don't act embarrassed. Please don't be rude. When a frostbitten Zeta arrives in the nude, quick, wrap him in blankets, don't beat round the bush, and tie a hot water bag on his cold tush.
Quick, feed him some chicken soup, heiss as can be, and give him some schnapps and a glazel hot tea.
'Cause he brings you a houseful of Hanukkah wishes, as warm and geschmuck as a plate of hot knishes.
And he brings them from our house so friendly and bright, so your house will keep glowing with Hanukkah light.
Plus joy, a sweet tucha, and peace and good cheer, and everything freilach each day of the year.
And none in your family will be a shlemazel, for life will bring each of you simchas and mazel.
And all through the future, your hopes will come true, and Himmel will bless your mishpacha and you. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah. I hope you enjoyed that. Now I have from the Prime Minister of England a message to Jews throughout the world.
To all our Jewish friends, neighbors, and relatives, wherever you are in the world, let me wish you a very happy Hanukkah. And there's every reason to be happy at this time of year. After all, quite aside from the joys of latkes and donuts, and I had the pleasure of baking a few myself when I visited Golders Green during the election campaign, who can argue with a festival where the kids get presents every day for more than a week? And it's time to celebrate not just the miracle of the oil, but also your unique identity. To pop the Hanukkah menorah in the window and say to the world, just as Judah and his small band of poorly equipped Maccabees said to Antiochus III and his mighty Greek army all those years ago, I am Jewish and I'm proud of it. And that's really important right now, because I know that recent years have not been easy ones for British Jews. In the media, on the streets, and particularly online, anti-Semites have in alarming numbers been emboldened to crawl out from under their rocks and begin once again to spread their brand of noxious hatred far and wide. But as you kindle the Hanukkah light tonight, and in the nights to come, I want you to remember this. When the Maccabees drove the forces of darkness out of Jerusalem, they had to do so on their own. Today, as Britain's Jews seek to drive back the darkness of resurgent anti-Semitism, you have every decent person in this country fighting by your side. Because Britain would not be Britain without its Jewish community. And we will stand with you and celebrate with you at Hanukkah and all year round. Hag Hanukkah Sameach.
Hope you enjoyed that. I thought that was a very nice message that I wanted to share with you.
Sharon, do you know why Britain wouldn't be Britain without the Jewish people?
No, why?
Well, the word Brit means a covenant, and we're B'nai Brit, so therefore the British are the people of the covenant, and they'd have to have Jewish influence to be truly British. I did want to share one thing with you, because you played something from Star Wars, which was really good, but some of us are Star Trek fans. So I just wanted to share this with you. Freedom, the final frontier. This is the story of the Jewish people, our eternal mission to seek out new ways to inspire civilization, to boldly take humanity where it has never been before.
That's great. And you probably wrote that while you were watching.
You're right. You were right. Wanted to give equal time.
You're a wordsmith.
Yes.
Okay.
I also wanted to thank. I see Irene Ostroff on the Zoom. I just also wanted to thank her for being, to me, a real Maccabee, someone who is very creative and working for freedom, and wrote a beautiful book about her life story. But she's an inspiration to me also. And it's great to see so many people listening in. And you guys all did a great job on that video. That was a great Hanukkah video. So thank you very much for sharing it with us.
We had fun. Okay, so I'd just like to announce some upcoming events just to let you know. Tomorrow at 3 p.m., don't miss Making Potato Latkes with Suzanne Burstein, the cooking class of the century with L'Dor Va-Dor in her own kitchen. And we've got everything ready, and it's going to be fun. On December 16th, this Wednesday evening, Rabbi Barry is going to have the Rabbi Sam Silver Controversial Issues Forum with Rabbi Barry, of course, and Pastor Fritz Oftenkamp. Their topic is going to be Who was Jesus and why the Christians should celebrate Hanukkah. On December 15th, Tuesday evening at 7 p.m., we have our weekly talk with two rabbis. That's Rabbi Barry Silver and Rabbi Zvi Khan. And you don't want to miss that. We talk about the Torah Parsha coming up for next weekend, and we talk about current events in Israel and everything Jewish. And that's a very nice week, very nice program that we have. On December 26th, Andrew Susman will lead us in a traditional Shabbat service in the morning. It will be at 10:30 a.m. on Saturday morning, December 26th. Rabbi Barry will be reading the Torah, and I think it'll be a very nice, fun, musical Shabbat morning service. You won't want to miss that. So with that, I'd like to open it up now, and I'd like everybody to share maybe some memories that they have, some traditions that they have of Hanukkah when they were growing up, or maybe with their children or their grandchildren that they've made, and some special times that you might remember of a Hanukkah, either current or past. So I am going to allow you to unmute yourselves and put it on gallery view. We can see one another. So who would like to go first to share anything, any memories about Hanukkah?
I'll say something.
Go ahead, Stacy.
I'd like everyone to say hello to Rita and Jerry Walco. That's my sister-in-law and brother-in-law. And I do have wonderful memories of Rita's mother, also my husband's mother, my mother-in-law, and Rita making latkes every Hanukkah for the whole family. It was a great memories. My children still remember it. And it was just great times we always had.
Very nice. Thank you, Stacy, for starting us off. Who would like to go next? I might not see everybody on the screen, so you might want to raise your Zoom hand if I don't see you. Who would like to go next with a memory? Well, while I'm waiting, I have a memory. When we were growing up, it was myself and my older sister and my older brother. I was the baby of the family. And every Hanukkah, we'd have 8 gifts. The first night, we'd get a very special gift. And the other 7 nights, we'd usually get either a candy cane or a bag of gold coins, gold chocolate coins. So it was always special. And I was always like, why are we getting candy canes? My Christian friends would get that. They said, it's just candy. It's no big deal. So that was a special memory. We always did Hanukkah, and we always did 8 gifts. And when my son was born, I did 8 real gifts for each day of the weeks, each day of the Hanukkah holiday. So who else would like to go? Arny and Sandy Pickholtz, you have a memory that you'd like to share? or Emily. Come on, Arny, unmute yourself and tell us a memory.
Valerie, I have one too.
Unmute yourself. Okay, who else while they're
Hey, there we are.
There you are. Okay.
All right.
Okay, tell me a Hanukkah memory.
A Hanukkah memory. Well, what I'm thinking about these days is a Hanukkah memory with my parents. You know, my father was a rabbi, and my mother, of course, was a rebbitzin. And we never gave any gifts.
Too many boys.
Yeah, any money. My father had 5 boys, you know, he was a rabbi in some podunk town in Massachusetts. And we never gave any gifts. But my mother would make the best latkes that I've ever had in my life. And she made a great applesauce. Now, we had 5 boys. So the problem with having 5 boys, and there were 7 in the family, is that you passed the food around once, and it never made a second pass. Never, not ever. So I did. Oh, and brisket. Oh, brisket. Tons and tons of brisket. All right, the candles. Let me just say one more thing before I check out. My father used to use an oil. Remember the ones with the oil and the wicks? Anybody remember that? Shake your head. I know you can. Yeah, the oil and the wicks. And it was always a bear. It was a bear. But I remember the first night was okay. By the time we got to the 8th night, most of the time we just left. And there you have the Chanukah with the Pickholtzes. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Arny. Arny is our producer of our Shabbats every week. And it's thanks to Arny that we get those up on YouTube each week. And I work very closely with Arny and Rabbi to do those each week. So thank you, Arny. Thank you, Sandy, for putting up with us.
Thank you.
Who else? I see Laura. Laura's raising her hand for a memory. No, you weren't? Oh.
No,
Laura,
I wasn't.
I saw you. Okay. I thought you were.
I'm happy to be here.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much. Do you have a memory you want to share? Anything?
Well, I guess the memory would be that it was always my sister who would put a kerchief on her head and light the candles. My parents were never very religious, but that set off my sister on a path of becoming Orthodox. So honestly, she was the one who kept that flame, the Jewish flame burning in our family.
How nice. That's a nice memory. Thank you, Laura, for sharing that. Welcome to our Hanukkah celebration. Thank you for being here.
Happy to be
Gloria,
here.
thank you. Gloria, do you have something to share? Gloria Stein?
We're muted. Well,
I do, but it's not pretty until I tell you about my sense of humor on this particular night. We had our meal. My middle daughter and I went to shul. On the way home, I was cut off by a young woman. I was going about 40 miles an hour on a main road, and our car was totaled. My ankle was broken, my whatever, and I passed out. And all of a sudden, on the driver's window is a cop with a clipboard. And I already had passed out, but just come to. And he said to me, "Do you have a tilt steering wheel?" I said, "Well, if I didn't have one before, I sure have one now." And then I had to be packed in ice because my ankle was broken and I had already had Hanukkah dinner. So I wasn't operated on until the next morning. But I just wanted you to know what I told the cop. I don't know how many people joke like I do with the cops. So I just wanted to tell you that story. It's not a pretty memory, but
I love to tell it anyway.
Thank you, Gloria, for sharing. Who else would like to share something? Emily, maybe? Andy? No? Okay. Pat or Sharon or Susan?
You know, I have to tell you
Andy,
also.
Try Valerie
Mirror,
first.
when
Go
I
Valerie.
hold up
Come back
my
to me.
left hand and my right hand, I have no idea what I'm doing. Just thought I would share that.
Okay, Valerie, go ahead.
I remember going back many years now to the Bronx when the whole family was still talking to each other. and we used to go to my grandmother's house in the Bronx, and we got her for Hanukkah, we got her this huge frying pan. And at the time, Teflon was just coming out because she would always be in the kitchen scrubbing with a Brillo pad. So we all chipped in and we got her this huge frying pan so she could make latkes for Hanukkah. Well, she did the latkes for Hanukkah, and of course they were delicious. And we're finishing up the Hanukkah at the table, eating them, but Nana's not there. And we hear this commotion in the kitchen. So myself and my mom, may she rest in peace, and my aunt ran into the kitchen. And there is my grandmother standing by the sink with a Brillo pad, scrubbing the Teflon off of the pan, because she said, when we said, you don't have to do that, Nanny, you just have to rinse it out with a sponge. She goes, nah, all this black stuff, schmutz, I got to take it off.
Oh, God.
You ruined it. We never got her a Teflon.
No.
That's great. That's great. Hannah, go ahead.
Okay, this is a little strange. We had bought a lot of Hanukkah gelt, and we had had a party, I guess, and had a lot of people come over. And then I don't know what happened, but we left all the Hanukkah gelt on the table and didn't think, and went out and drove somebody home or whatever happened, I don't remember. And when we came home, there were gold wrappers all over the floor. The dog had eaten every bit of Hanukkah candy, and we panicked. So we actually spent the whole night, we got advice, and we made the dog throw up, and we had to take the dog outside so she could throw up. We were up all night hoping that she would get rid of it all. And then after a fashion, we found out that even with her weight, she's a big dog, she would have been okay.
Oh.
Hannah, how did you make
I'm
the
sorry,
dog
that
throw
was
up?
a bad Hanukkah memory. I'm sorry.
How do you make the dog throw up?
Ipecac. When you had little kids and they had to get rid of something, the doctors always said to give them Ipecac. And so that's what the vet said. We had to run to the drugstore, get the Ipecac, give it to the poor dog. I'll tell you, I don't know if that dog's going to eat any more chocolate ever again.
Yeah.
By the way, chocolate is poisonous to most dogs, depending on the size.
Sharon, I'd like to share a story if I could.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead, Barry.
Okay. So when I was raised as a little child, I'm not going to say growing up because I haven't grown up yet, but when I was a little child, my dad was a rabbi, and he was very erudite, very, very studious, but he also loved to have a good time. He had a great sense of humor. And so what we did, we celebrated every night of Hanukkah. But, you know, Arny, it's too bad your parents didn't think of this. What we did was we had 5 boys also. We arranged with the neighbors, one parent every night of Hanukkah would have a party at their house. And we would celebrate Hanukkah. It was so much fun at all of our friends' houses. And one night, one of the parents would have to do something. All the other nights they could rest. So there was one lady, I won't mention her name because maybe she's still listening, and she made the worst meatloaf ever. And every Hanukkah, she always made meatloaf. And we would always joke around, I sure love Hanukkah, except for Mrs. Whoever's meatloaf. That's the worst. and we had 5 boys, and my parents would give us all a gift every night of Hanukkah. And just now I'm thinking about it, that had to be like so much work to give 5 boys a gift every night, but we did. Now, when I had kids of my own, I have Ari and Brandon. Francine had gone off for a weekend with her friends. So I was there all by myself with the kids. And Francine was very, very, very nervous. She couldn't trust me, made her read Hebrew correctly, but taking care of the kids by myself, no. She was nervous. So what happened was we're lighting the menorah. Brandon was about 2, or maybe 1. And he comes over and all of a sudden he pees on the floor. And at the same time, a candle fell over and started burning a piece of paper. And then we walked over and then we were slipping around. And we were cracking up. And Francine said, "What happened?" I said, "We had a flood and a fire in the house. But other than that, it's all good." So,
I believe it. I believe it.
So we love to celebrate Hanukkah, and my dad was always very, very inspiring about how it reminds us that the Jewish people have always been able to overcome insurmountable odds to beat the enemies who are trying to impress us. It's just a very inspiring holiday, and I still love to celebrate. And now it's great to celebrate with my friends at L'Dor Va-Dor. The other joke that you've probably heard is the lady who goes to the post office. She says, "I want to buy some Hanukkah stamps." And the person says, "Really, what denomination?" She says, "Oh, no, as it come to this, okay, I'll take 5 Orthodox, 3 conservative, and 10 Reform stamps." And my wish for the new year is that all Jewish people can come together. And even though we have different denominations, respect the differences and talk to each other. And I think it was Laura, you said your sister is she's Orthodox. Well, we do a dialogue with Orthodox and Reform. She's welcome to join us if she'd like to call in, because we take input from people. She's welcome to join us every Tuesday night. We really like getting the different denominations together and celebrate together.
Thanks, Rabbi. Andy, I think you had your hand next.
Yeah, so real quick, there's a quote that says that the light from a single candle can dispel a room full of darkness. And that's really the miracle that each of us as a human being, as Jews, we have an opportunity to bring light to the world. And I wanted to say that when I was talking to Sharon yesterday, we were doing a dry run, or maybe Thursday it was. And on my mother's marker, you would notice that many times there's a single candle or 3 candles. I have a Chanukiah on my mom's marker.
Oh.
Very nice.
Thanks. I see Myra Ehrman. Go ahead, Myra and Paul. I think, yeah, unmuted. Don't burn yourself.
Okay. All right. Very quickly. So childhood memory. I had a younger sister. We would alternate. We had a big menorah and a little baby menorah. The little baby menorah took birthday candles, and we would alternate. One night I'd have the big menorah, and the next night I'd have the baby menorah. And the biggest thing was to pick out the colors and arrange them just so. And it was very exciting to have the big menorah. And the other thing my mother did was she also gave us presents every night. She would wrap them and she would label them. Myra #1 for the first night, Bonnie #2 for the second night. And you didn't know if it was going to be a bigger gift or something small across all the 8 nights.
Oh, how nice.
But to this day, I still fuss when I pick out the colors and what order they're going to go in every night.
That's cute, cute, very nice. Who else had their hand raised? Oh, Emily, go ahead.
Okay, this is really not a big story, but I remember Hanukkah when my kids were 3, 2, and 1. And if anybody has ever had 3 little kids at the same time, it's pretty chaotic. So we had made the decision for Hanukkah they would get very little presents, except the first night my late mother-in-law insisted everybody get a good present. So I don't remember what the baby got. The third kid, you don't remember very much anyway. But the second kid got a stuffed animal that she loved for her life. It was called Baby Bear. And my son, who was 3, got the toy that we always remember, not fondly. It was a fire engine and it ran on batteries and it went and it would go and it would hit the wall and it would back up and then it was, Sharon's nodding, she must have had it. And it kept going and it kept going. It was, I remember that Hanukkah my whole life and that fire, and you couldn't put it away and the kid would cry if you shut it off. That's my Hanukkah story.
I saw somebody else's hand. Irene Ostra for Maida. Somebody else have their hand raised. I might have missed. Not sure. Anybody else want to share anything? It's funny because Emily was saying that about the fire engine. There's almost over 9 years difference between me and my elder sister. So she had her children and I was still a young lady, teenager basically. And I would buy all these noisy toys for them, such as fire engines and the airplanes that would go and run into walls. And I couldn't understand it. Every time I went to visit her, she never had batteries. So none of the toys would ever work. And the kids would just take the airplanes and the cars and the fire engines and they would just go buzz, 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 buzz with them. And I kept saying, how come you don't buy batteries for their... Now I know why.
Hey, it could have been drums.
We had those too, and little pianos. Oh, that's my dog, sorry. Okay, who else would like to share, or we'll call it a night? A night of the third candle. So, okay, well, thank you all so much for sharing. And before we go, Andy, do you want to sing one last song for us?
God, well, what song would that be? Let's think about that.
I don't know. I'm thinking Hine Matov because what Rabbi just said about unity, I'm still getting that feel of unity. And so I'd really like to see that again.
Well, one of my favorite songs is As We Bless the Source of Light and Life. So we are blessed.
Yes.
So we'll do that one and then we'll close with Hine Matovu again. Here we go.
Very good.
As we bless the source of light, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. And the blessing gives us strength and makes our visions clear. And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare. As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed. As we bless the source of light, so we are blessed. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov u'manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Hine matov, shevet achim gam yachad. Happy Hanukkah.
Happy Hanukkah, everybody. Thank you so much for being with us tonight. Thank you so much. Chag Sameach. Happy Hanukkah to one and all. Please remember about our programs this week. We have Suzanne with Latkes tomorrow at 3 on Zoom. That's on our website, l'dorvador.org. And on Tuesday, chat with 2 rabbis, one Orthodox, one Rabbi Barry. And Wednesday, controversial issues, and more and more and more and more. So please.
Sharon, I wanted to mention one other thing, if I could.
Sure. We just lost you. Okay. Hold on.
Yeah. Before we go, I just want to share one other very wonderful memory that I have. Is that when we had these Hanukkah celebrations, we invited Christians to our house. and shared with them that Hanukkah really is something that all people should celebrate, especially Christians. And we used to go to Christmas services. They would invite my father, because he did a lot of interfaith work, to bring Jews and Christians together. And I hope that all of us at this time of year, the Festival of Lights, can remember Hanukkah is a great holiday and it's beautiful to celebrate with Jewish people. But we need to see religion as a way to bring all people together. So let's join with other people. We don't necessarily have to celebrate their holiday as the Son of God, but we can celebrate the birth of a Jewish person. But let's use these holidays to bring people together, all Jews, all religions, and let's be like a shamash, seeing darkness and trying to light that candle so we can spread the light of Judaism and joy. And I thank everybody for joining us on Chanukah. And I thank you, Sharon, for putting all this together. It's beautiful, beautiful celebration.
Can I add something?